Hello, you guys. Let's talk about percent of change today. So we're going to solve problems with percent of increase or decrease. So here's a little formula that we're going to use a lot, okay? The percent of change is always equal to the new amount minus the original amount over the original amount. So we're going to be changing a fraction into a percent. Now, a percent of increase would mean that we would get a positive answer after we do that. A percent of decrease means we get a negative answer after we do that. So this is really important, put a red star. This is what we're going to be using over and over again. Percent of change always equals the new amount minus the original amount over the original amount. All right, you guys, so let's talk about example 1, finding a percent of increase. Here's a situation. A real estate agent sells 32 properties one year. The next year, the agent sells 54 properties. Find the percent of increase. So the original amount that they sold was 32. The new amount that they sold is 54. So now we're going to plug that in. So the percent of change equals new minus original over original. So 54 minus 32 over 32. Well, then I simplify. 54 minus 32 gives me 22 on top over 32. And now I will divide both the top and the bottom by 2, so I get 11 over 16. Now remember, they want the answer as a percent, so I have to do the in and out trick. So put the 11 on the inside, the 16 on the outside, and divide. Notice how after the 11 I put a decimal point and I added 4 zeros. Now I want you guys to write this in your note-taking guide so I know you actually did the division. So make sure you try it on your own and you can check it along with mine. And then we get a decimal of 0.6875. But remember, a decimal is not a percent. To change a decimal to a percent, go to the right. So grab the decimal point and move it 2 places to the right. So that gave me a 68.75%. So the percent of increase, because it was positive, remember it's a percent of increase, is 68.75%. Okay, so go down here to the guided practice, and we need to find the percent of increase or decrease. Now, this makes me crazy how your book gives us no room at all to show our work, so I'm going to try to do this along with you. Take a look at number 1. The original amount was 80. The new amount is 60. So remember, we're going to do the percent of change equals the new minus the original over the original. So 60 minus 80 over 80. Well, remember, when I see a minus sign, I'm going to grab my red and I add a line, change the sign. So 60 plus negative 80 gives me negative 20 on top, and I have 80 on the bottom. Well, then I'm going to reduce that fraction. I'm going to divide both the top and the bottom by 20. So negative 20 divided by 20 gives me negative 1. 80 divided by 20 gives me 4. So I have negative 1 over 4. Well, remember, to write a percent, I would just multiply by 25 on the top and the bottom to get negative 25 over 100. And that would give me a negative 25%. So this is definitely a decrease because we got a negative answer. Okay, take a look at number 2. Now I have to show my work up here, so follow along with me. The original amount was 25. The new amount is 40. So write the equation. The percent of change equals the new minus the original over the original. So that would be 40 minus 25 over 25. Well, I know that 40 minus 25 is 15, so I put 15 on the top, and then I just bring the 25 over. Well, it's easy to make this into a percent because I can change 25 into 100 by multiplying by 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 50 times 4 gave me 60. 25 times 4 gives me 100. Well, 60 over 100 is just a 60% increase. And remember, it's an increase because we got a positive answer, not a negative answer. Okay, take a look at number 3. The original amount is 48. The new amount is 64. So write P% equals the new minus the original over the original. So 64 minus 48 over 48. Well, 64 minus 48 gives me 16 on top, and then I bring the 48 over on the bottom. Well, I can divide both the numerator and denominator by 16, so I get 1 over 3. Well, this is a fraction. To turn this fraction into a percent, we have to use the in and out trick. So put the 1 on the inside, the 3 on the outside, put a decimal point, put a few zeros, and then do the division. And again, you need to show your work, but you're going to see how it's 0.3333 forever and ever and ever. So write it out, at least put 4 threes on your paper, because we have to change this decimal into a percentage. So grab that decimal point and move it 2 places to the right. So that gave me 33.3 with a bar over it percent. And since it's a positive answer, it's an increase.